Alright, how are we going? This is Paul Mitchell here on greymerchants.com. And today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be competing in the online RPTQ for Amonkhet. So you see I've got it open here. If this number, which is currently 125, gets up above 128, we'll have 8 rounds on our hands. I think the cutoff is 128 means you can have 7 rounds, 129 means you have 8 rounds. So I don't know what's going to happen. People have been removing themselves from the event and then rejoining it. As presumably they make minor deck changes. You have to, if you're not familiar with Magic Online, you have to exit the event and then come back in with a new deck list if you want to change something at the 11th hour. But I'm happy with my list. I'm not going to be doing any of that. This is what I'm going to be bringing to the table. And it's a deck that I'm very familiar with at this point, macro archetype speaking, which is Mardu vehicles. But I think we are at the stage where you could barely even call this deck vehicles. It's something different at this point. There's only 4 vehicles. They're the Heart of Kiran, which are extremely powerful. And, potential to get banned. People have said that it could be better than Smuggler's Copter. It's got upsides, it's got downside. Clearly the biggest upside, in my opinion, is that last ability, the loyalty counter ability, where you can, say, the dream curve is something like turn 1 Exemplar, turn 2 Heart of Kiran, turn 3 probably Thalia, into turn 4 Gideon, crew my Heart of Kiran. I think that's exactly 20, that particular curve. Yeah, it's quite silly. But I put up an article last week about the build of Mardu that I was on, which was it was more based on Veteran Motorist. So Veteran Motorist is the 2-mana 3/1 with Scry 2, and whenever it crews a vehicle, it gets +1/+1. That's great when your plan is to play a whole ton of vehicles. Like the early decks had multiple fleet wheel cruisers, and just making giant vehicles that bash your opponent really quickly is kind of the name of the game. The deck's kind of evolved since then, and contextually, this card isn't as powerful as it used to be. We used to have, we used to live in a world without Walking Ballista, is essentially it. Walking Ballista makes this deck, or makes the Veteran Motorist in this deck look really silly. Someone with the Toolcraft Exemplar, you just ping that guy, he goes down pretty easily, even though he looks like a 3/2. Same with the Motorist, when your 2-drop just gets pinged to death, it's pretty embarrassing. So the evolution of this deck has taken it to this point here. I've seen versions that play up to 10 Planeswalkers in the 75, and then have like Oaths of Chandras and Oaths of Obnixilis. I think that's a bit unnecessary here, but I do like Nahiri in this deck quite a bit. I've been testing out Nahiri. It works really well with Scrounger. You can discard the Scrounger, get it back, or you can discard... you usually don't discard creatures, but you could discard a creature to get back your Scrounger. You can discard lands in the late game. You can discard multiple copies of your legendary Heart of Kiran. I know that's been a sticking point for a lot of people. This card is very powerful, but it is legendary. You do draw multiples fairly often. Having a way to loot them into something more impactful is a pretty valuable thing to be able to do in this deck. And then aside from that, we got 4 Fatal Push, which along with the Walking Ballista makes this deck a lot more resilient against black-green. And I've actually got a sideboard guide for myself over here against the 5 main archetypes I expect to be seeing the most of. Against Mardu, this is kind of assuming that everyone's now living in a Walking Ballista world. So the thing is, between the Veteran Motorist and the Walking Ballista, the Veteran Motorist lines up pretty badly against Walking Ballista, which you can chalk up to just being kind of a black-green matchup. You say, well, that matchup's bad. Maybe we want to shore up other matchups and just kind of take our losses in that particular part of the rock, paper, scissors dynamic. So if Motorist is bad against Ballista, and all the Mardu decks start becoming Ballista decks, then it's understandable that most of the top Mardu decks that you might see all include the card Walking Ballista, because suddenly Ballista isn't just a black-green card, it's also a card in the mirror, which means the Motorist gets worse in the mirror, which is really what sold me on the Switch in the end. So assuming your opponent is kind of playing this Ballista version, you take out the Exemplars, because they get pinged, and the Nihiris, which doesn't do a good job of exiling Heart of Kiran, but does kind of get attacked. I'm not sold on this particular sideboard, but taking the Nihiri outs, that is. The Nihiri's out. But I do like Incendiary Flow for taking out opposing Scroungers. Release the Gremlin's exceptional in this matchup, and also 1 Fragmentize. So we've got 4 ways to blow up artifacts. We've got Incendiary Flows to deal with Scroungers, and then you just try and eke out advantage. Against the 4-color Copycat deck, you take out the Fatal Pushes and bring in Chandra, Painful Truths, and Needle Spies, and the Transgress the Mind. And the reason you bring in the Chandra essentially is to replace the Nihiri, so now you've got something that can snipe a Copycat. Black-green energy is the big change, and this is what my article last week was about. Essentially doing the same thing. We're taking out the Exemplars. Walking Ballista, their Ballistas are just better than yours. And unless they're going all in on the 2-1 energy guy that I can never remember the name of, then it's not going to ping very much, and they're just playing Ballistas that are better than yours. And Thalia is a great card when you're the aggressor, which this deck typically is in game 1. The fact that they can just play a Verdurous Gearhulk, beef up their guys, and then swing in, it doesn't matter if the Gearhulk is tapped, they still have giant guys that are swinging in that are bigger than Thalia, so I don't think she's particularly good in that matchup, and you just get to bring in a bunch of controlling cards. And then against Marvel, it makes sense. You take out the Fatal Push and the Ballistas, you bring in Disruption cards, and the Flow I found actually works pretty well. You're taking out this cheap removal, so if they do land a blocker, then you can use this to get it out of the way, or you can just dome them to the face for the last little 3 damage. I've seen a lot of Rogue Refiner decks in the leagues currently, so in that matchup, Thalia again she's just a guy that gets bolted really easily, and usually doesn't affect them too badly, so the 2 toughness is a bit of a sticking point, especially up against something like a Kozilek's Return. So she comes out, a couple of the Ballistas come out because there aren't very many X1s to ping, and the Fatal Push are bad in that matchup as well. Then you bring in, Artifact Disruption and cards for the control matchup. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so we've had a bunch of people join just in the last few minutes. We're up to 133. This event has a cap of 212 or something like that. So we haven't hit the cap, but we have hit the threshold for 8 rounds. I can't imagine an X2 will make it, but I think with 8 rounds, some amount of X1s will make it. I'm not great at the tournament maths, but here we go. 20 seconds. The other cool thing about having an online Regional Pro Tour qualifier is that depending on who my opponent is, I might be able to get some amount of information on what decks they've been playing recently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up MTG Goldfish, and we can well, I'm going to choose to play first. And what we can actually do is if we go Julie Zerg, or July Zerg, I don't know why I keep saying Julie, we can see that no information about Standard. So we're just going to play this one straight. And I think the 5-lander here isn't very good. Sure, we can go Heart of Kiran into Gideon, but we've got no turn 1 play and no turn 3 play currently. And 5 lands, you never need to get to 5 lands. So I'm going to mulligan this one. Ooh, this hand's much better. Heart of Kiran. So with this hand, we go Courtyard Exemplar into probably Spire of Industry, Heart, and then maybe even... Yeah, so Courtyard Exemplar, Spire of Industry, Heart, Courtyard plus Spire of Industry for Scrounger to Crew Heart, hit for 7, play Shambling Vent. Yeah, I like keeping the Heart of Kiran here. Alright. Bring on July Zerg. What do you got for me? Could be the mirror. Inspiring Vantage is often the mirror, but it could also be some kind of Jeskai Saheeli deck. Alright, we'll get him for 3. Hopefully 7 next turn. If our opponent plays something like a turn 2 Scrap Heap Scrounger, then they're really going to be on the back foot. Okay, no, this does look like some kind of Saheeli deck. It's rare for a Mardu-ish deck to keep a hand with no 1 or 2 drop. Even though a Spy Bluff Canal you could see in some kind of 4-color Mardu deck. But at this point I'm assuming this is more of a controlling deck. Alright, so we'll get in for our 7. No Harness Lightning, no nothing. Alright. Well, if our opponent just taps out for something like a Rogue Refiner next turn, they're just straight up dead. Let's see how they go. Yeah, we've had a very aggressive start here. I think our mulligan decision worked out pretty well. Like I said, we're operating just fine on 3 lands. And in an aggressive deck, I like mulliganing more often because you can operate on fewer lands. And if you have the dream start of just 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, it doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of cards in your hand. Our opponent has 7 cards to our 2, and I think we're in an extremely commanding position. So, if you are playing a deck like Mardu Vehicles, feel free to mulligan those borderline hands that aren't very aggressive, particularly when you're in the play as well. Alright, what you got for me, July Zerg? It has to be something... If it's any creature, our opponent explodes in a ball of flame. Okay, so technically it's 2 creatures. Fatal Push... If we'd drawn a land, would that have gotten us there? No. So our opponent can't Saheeli combo us this turn. We can't play any creature that crews this. So if we crew with the Exemplar... We can play Walking Ballista, and that... doesn't crew the Heart of Kieran. If we play Walking Ballista, that gives us 3 artifacts for the Exemplar. It can attack with First Strike into the Virtuoso. That's pretty nice. And then the Scrounger crews the Heart of Kieran. And then we hold up Push. If we just fire off the Unlicensed Disintegration, our opponent makes a Thopter, they go to 7, and they have to chump block probably the Heart of Kieran and go to 4. I think that's just better. If we kill this, we'll care about First Strike. Obviously, if we had Swamp for our Fatal Push, that'd be fantastic. But I think this is better than just playing the Ballista and the Fatal Push. Yeah, playing the Ballista and the Fatal Push also gives our opponent the option of keeping the Vuela Virtuoso around, which is a pretty decent Felidar Guardian target in this spot, because it makes another flyer and lets our Heart of Kieran not be lethal. We can also use the Walking Ballista as if we draw a land, then it can just be shocked to the face, which is pretty relevant in certain spots. Okay, so we're tuning with Aether, which probably means there's another 3-drop on the way. Could be another Virtuoso. Okay, so I just played the Mountain. So what is this? What can they have? Shock plus Harness Lightning? Nahiri. They could have the Shielded Aether Thief or whatever. This has to just be Harness Lightning on the Heart of Kieran. Take 3. Right? So we crew the Scrounger, attack with Exemplar and Heart of Kieran. They Harness Lightning the Heart of Kieran to go down to 1, and then we just Ballista them to finish them off. I think it's better to attack with the Scrounger. So let's crew with the Exemplar. Yeah, I think Shock has gone out of favor a little bit, but that would keep our opponent on more than 1 life. Nope, so the Walking Ballista is going to get there. Boop. Alright, first game in the books. So this is a 4-color Jeskai. Well, 4-color Jeskai. I imagine this is a deck featuring the copycat combo. It's rare to see someone playing an energy-themed deck with white that isn't playing the combo. So I think that's a fairly safe assumption. So if we were just to go off-rote here, I'd say take out the Fatal Push, which are typically bad in this matchup, and then a Nahiri, and bring in the Transgress the Mind to break up the combo, and also to snipe things like a Tracker or a Rogue Refiner, and force those cards to be a 1-for-1. Chandra over the Nahiri because it snipes the cat. Painful Truths because we're slowing a deck down a little bit, and we want to make sure we keep hitting gas. And then because we've taken out all these 1-drops, I like bringing in Needle Spires. And the other reason I like having an extra land in this kind of spot is typically the games go... you have to, at some point, hold up an Unlicensed Disintegration to stop the combo. So you really want to deploy your hand quickly and just go bang, 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 hit all your land drops. Because otherwise... Faz, well done, making an appearance. If you don't make all your land drops, then it can be hard to hold up Unlicensed Disintegration. It was a lot easier when this deck was playing Shock. But I like applying lots of pressure. We've got the Disintegrates, the Ballistas, the Thalias break up the combo, the Transgress breaks up the combo. Typically they run out the cat before they run out Saheeli, so Chandra can break up the combo. So we've got a lot of ways to disrupt, and then we've got a lot of ways to add pressure. And we just got to Miser's Painful Truths. Let's do it. Alright, we can get rid of that now. This hand has only 2 lands, but we're on the draw. And we get to go Inspector, into Scrounger, into Thalia, into Chandra, or Unlicensed Disintegration. So basically any land we draw here is fantastic. This is a more typical start of what I would expect from this kind of deck. Alright, they went and got Mountain. Ballista's not a bad draw. That means that we can tap out for it at some point, and it represents protecting the combo. Servant, alright. Inspector obviously can't attack into that. The Foreboding Runes is a little awkward. It means we definitely want to play the Inspiring Vantage, because if we top deck a Mountain or a Swamp, then we're right on track. It also, we can go Scrounger, and then Walking Ballista. You know, say our opponent goes Plains, Felidar, Guardian, or whatever, then we're going to want to play the Ballista, which is a 2-drop anyway. Obviously not attacking. Do your worst. This is a quick start from our opponent. On the play, they've got a bunch of energy. They could even be on an Aetherworks Marvel version. And an Aetherworks Marvel here would be pretty backbreaking. we'd only put them to 16, and then they'd probably untap and be able to use it. Regardless, next turn we're going to be able to play something that interrupts the combo. Ooh, okay. This can't be Saheeli herself. What is this, Rogue Refiner? Oh, just a Virtuoso, alright. Alright, so we could play Ballista for 1. It's pretty bad on this board, to be honest. Our opponent's beating down pretty hard. I think Ballista for 1 is still better than Cracking Clue, though. We've got a lot of stuff going on in hand. We just want to make sure we keep affecting the board. And our opponent isn't making a Thopter to block with, so this indicates they are trying to be particularly aggressive. Alright, let's see. They just go all in on Thopters? No! Wow, okay, maybe they are playing an Aetherworks Marvel deck. The way they played that last turn made me think they're trying to be aggressive. But clearly that's not the case. Oh, maybe they were planning on oathing the Ballista. So they didn't want to make any Thopters so we can get value out of our Mold Fanatic ping. I could have pinged the Servant of the Conduit so that if it attacks this turn, it won't get damaged. You know, like we can trade our Inspector for the Servant. But there's a pretty decent chance our opponent's planning to use this mana anyway. So I'd rather get in for the sure 1 damage. Like, we don't know if they might want to spend all their mana this turn anyway. At which point the damage did nothing. Alright, here we go. It's a race. So, this is one of those spots where you can play around the combo, but maybe you don't want to, because if our opponent plays Felidar Guardian and starts blinking Oaths of Chandra, then we're going to kind of fall behind regardless. So, we're kind of losing to the fair game currently. We shouldn't sign up to also play around the combo. If we're losing to the fair game and then we lose to the combo, it's because our opponent just had a really good draw and we didn't. You know, we've had a much slower start than game 1. So Inspector's kind of not doing very much on this board. I think I'm okay with trading it for a Thopter. So my plan here is just to attack. Okay. We're just taking all of it. Our opponent's representing Harness Lightning. So playing the Thalia and getting it Harness Lightning gets us our opponent up to 9 energy, which gives them 3 Thopters. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for 2 turns. So barring nothing else, it's a 2-turn clock. But I think we need to play it. If we just hold up Disintegrate here, then we're getting for a bit of damage. Like, if our opponent has Harness Lightning, they can just Harness Lightning our Scrounger anyway. And then we're even further behind. So, if playing around Harness Lightning actually prevented our opponent from resolving that spell for value, then I'd consider it. But seeing as they can just Harness Lightning the Scrounger anyway, then, you know, being prudent with our Thalia actually doesn't get us anywhere. We still have 4 power on the board at the end of the day with this line. Should never opponent... Oh, they had to use a red mana off the Aether Hub. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's actually super relevant. Alright, so our opponent would have to have exactly Saheeli plus Felidar Guardian to get us here. I've actually toyed with bringing in Fumigate against this deck when this appears to be their plan. Just because this happens fairly frequently. And with Servant of the Conduit, it makes me more likely to do that. The problem is then you're tapping out at 5 mana, and if they just untap and have the combo, you're pretty cold to it. You can see why hitting all your land drop is super relevant, by the way. You can see, like, we've got a couple of 3 drops, a couple of 4 drops in our hand. And if we... well, there's the Sahili. Copy the Rogue Refiner. Yeah, this game's slipped away, I think. I don't think we're going to get there on this one. Oh, no. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. All the disintegrations and nothing to do with it. If we disintegrate the Rogue Refiner, go 3 to the face, put them to 9, attack them, put them to 5. It's really unlikely our opponent plays in such a way that they're dead to the disintegrates, though. So what if we disintegrate the Rogue Refiner? So we want to do chunks of 3, is essentially where we're at currently. We want to disintegrate the Rogue Refiner, direct to them, 3 to them, put them to 6, chump, disintegrate, chump, disintegrate. I don't think it's going to work, but if our opponent plays badly, we might win. As technically, if our opponent just taps out for some reason, then Gideon Emblem also gets there. That's another way to get to 6 damage. Game Trail, that's good for us. I think we're just dead on board though, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Yeah. Not quite, actually. So if our opponent copies the Virtuoso, they can hit for 1, 2, chump something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so our opponent has to, like, attack with everything, use their energy in some other weird way, only make 1 Thopter to block the Scrounger, which we then disintegrate and attack for 3. Like I said, I think that's the only way I can envision a win from here. But from our opponent's seat, they're thinking we can easily win in 2 turns. So we just need to make sure our clock gets there, and we don't want to die to an unlicensed disintegration. So our opponent will take steps to not die here. Is my... I imagine. I've won plenty of games from opponents not playing around the perfect card. The cool thing is if our opponent plays ultra defensively, then the second disintegrate gets them. So from the opponent's seat, what they need to do is guarantee they win next turn on their turn 7, but also make sure they don't die on my next turn. I think they do that by copying, slamming with everything. I'm forced to chump. They make 2 Thopters, and they're not even dead to 1 disintegrate. Yeah, so it looks like they're playing pretty defensively. Nope. Okay, they are going to slay with everything. I think that's correct. It forces a chump with the Inspector. Like I said, they can just make 2 Thopters next turn. And if they do that, then... Oh, no, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've already activated Sahili this turn? Yeah, they made the copy. So going to 1 puts us dead to the... I mean, we can't win in 2 turns, essentially. So we need to... let's make a token of token things. Yeah. So they could make an extra flyer as well with haste. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so if our opponent just tapped out for Aetherworks Marvel, activated and whiffed, I think we'd win. That's kind of what we need to have happen. So I'm just kind of going through the motions at this point. And yeah. Our opponent revealed their Botanical Sanctum. So yeah, we still have to respect the combo, but they're still going wide with Virtuoso. So yeah, still like Inspector, Exemplar, Scrounger, Heart of Kieran, Transgress the Mind for sure, Thalia. We want the Disintegrate. So we want all this... We want the aggressive shell, for sure. Gideon is hard for them to beat. It's a shame we didn't draw it in either of those games. We want the Walking Ballista for the combo. I definitely want Transgress and Painful Truths. I'm wondering if we want any of these. I think Fumigate is a bridge too far. If you're letting it get to that point, then your A game has failed. And we're trying to play towards our A game. I could see maybe cutting one Chandra. Chandra's not amazing in this matchup. I'm going to try the Fumigate. I don't think it's crazy. Keeping this hand would be, though. We need to draw runner lands to have our aggressive start that we like. Well, this hand's a keep. Ooh, Mountain is good with Foreboding Ruins, but we really don't want more mana sources. So this hand we go... Well, we can go Aether Hub Exemplar into Foreboding Ruins, Reveal Mountain Scrounger, into Mountain Inspector Crack Clue. I think if we keep Mountain, it actually guarantees that we have Exemplar into Scrounger. So otherwise, I'd probably want to go Shambling Vent into Exemplar, Ruins, into Aether Hub Scrounger, Inspector, which is so much slower. So I think it actually speeds us up if we keep this Mountain. It's a shame, because we're kind of low on action, so keep a land on top. But we just want to close the game out. Alright, so we're going to play this, revealing that. Play this. Get in there. Alright. Second Thrower Inspector we can't play. Harness the Lightning on the Toolcraft Exemplar? That seems strange to me. I wouldn't have let the trigger resolve. Our opponent's just down one energy. Rogue Refiner? Yep. Alright. So we're going to attack. They'll probably trade. We can bring it back, play Inspector, play tap land. So we still need the top of our deck to be kind to us. But at least we're making use of all this mana we're drawing. Oh, no blocks. Alright, now we can just play the Inspector and crack the clue instead. Might as well crack the clue now. I don't think our opponent's going to play differently if we represent a Harness Lightning or something like that. Walking Ballista is another good way to make use of all this mana that I drew. And intentionally drew, seeing as he kept the mountain. I like that our opponent's on the back foot. But keeping that land did sacrifice a bit of card quality for tempo. So if that plan doesn't get there, then we could be in trouble. Attacking with the Rogue Refiner probably means a Whirl of Virtuoso is on its way down. Or some other energy creature. Alright, we're definitely slaying with the Scrounger. Now we're probably playing Heart of Kiran, Inspector, and then either cracking Clue or bringing back Scrounger. So let's see if our opponent blocks. I mean, we have been successful in putting them under a lot of pressure, which is nice. So I don't think we'll be bringing back Scrounger. We'll probably be cracking the Clue, but this time we've already played our land drop. We've got no other possible plays, so I'm going to wait. Could have played the Ballista to play around the combo next turn, but I think having a big Ballista is going to be more relevant. Let's see if actually, I definitely should have played the Ballista there. I think we're winning the aggro game. Now we're going to lose to the combo game. That was bad. At least the gremlin's on our Heart of Kiran. We dodged a bullet there. Kind of. I just wanted to get the most out of my cards, rather than just playing a 1-1 Walking Ballista. I feel like there's a good chance we play it for 3 next turn. Or we play it for 2. Yeah, I think we've got our opponent enough on the back foot here that we want to make sure we do what we can to not die to the combo. Which involves playing... our opponent would have to have Harness Lightning into Copycat and Saheeli. Is there any merit to attacking with the Shambling Vent? No, because then we wouldn't be able to play... Like, I'd want to play Heart of Kiran for turn this turn, for sure. Because that's going to get in for a bunch of damage. We'll see if our opponent finally blocks this Scrounger. With the Gremlin, presumably. Alright, so we can bring that back. So, we definitely want to play Kiran this turn. Heart of Kiran. I kind of want to bring the Scrounger and have Ballista. So I think here it's going to be Ballista for 1. No, actually, I think Ballista for 2 is better. If our opponent has end-step Harness Lightning, we have to shoot down the Servant Conduit, which is their white mana currently. So yeah, I like Ballista for 2 here. We can always bring back Scrounger on our next turn. to crew the Heart of Kieran and attack, and we even have mana for Shambling Vent in that case as well. And now, if our opponent Harness Lightning, we shoot the Servant of the Conduit, and that also is indirectly hindering their outs to have the combo. Yeah, what's the major thing I've learnt by playing with Ballista is that it's so much better when you get to play it at a value where if they have to 2-for-1 themselves to get rid of it, you actually get to kill something meaningful in the process. Alright, we're going to have a good attack next turn. Like I said, our opponent needs Plains, Copycat to flicker the Aether Hub into Saheeli. They could have punished us last turn when we didn't respect it. But if they have it this turn, then that's pretty good for them. Is this just another release the Gremlins? What's happening? Chandra. Chandra the plus... Then play Copycat, copy the Copy Refiner is probably the best move. Ooh, wow. Wow. Our opponent getting greedy. Natural State of the Heart of Kieran. Oh my god. Jeez. Greed City and getting rewarded. Wow. Alright, so we can Ballista for 3. Okay, at this stage of the game, I'm not super worried about the combo. We can Ballista for 3, kill the Rogue Refiner, attack them down to 6. That still doesn't give us Scrounger. I think if we just start pouring energy into trying to fight the Chandra, then we kind of lose. At the moment, this Rogue Refiner is blanking our Inspectors and Shambling Vents. Our opponents hit every land drop. And I think they're playing the plus for the natural state is kind of a sign of desperation. He's playing a Ballista for 3 better than Scrounger and Ballista for 2. If we Scrounger and Ballista for 2, we get to shoot the Rogue Refiner, attack them down to 6, play the Scrounger, and then we've got Inspector, Inspector, Scrounger for 5 damage, plus the Shambling Vent. So I don't quite get there, because if worst comes to worst, our opponent can just -4 on some guy like the Scrounger. If we Ballista for 3, then we shoot the Rogue Refiner, put them down to 6, and then we've got 5, and we can't threaten lethal the next turn. So if we Ballista 2 and bring back Scrounger, kill the Rogue Refiner, hit them down to 6, we actually do represent lethal, which makes our opponent's plays next turn more awkward. So I think I like Ballista for 2, getting back the Scrounger. With our opponent's Chandra in play, the longer the game goes, the more advantage they're going to get. I just want to close out the game as quickly as I can. So getting our 3-powered guy back on the board seems good. Like, if we start trying to fight uphill against this Chandra, I don't see how that wins us the game. Forest, that's good for us. What if our opponent even has the combo left in their deck? I feel like if you're bringing in stuff like Oath of Chandra, then you're still going to want the Copycat available to you. 10 energy. That's a lot of guys. Fumigate would be surprisingly good here. Somewhat, anyway. Alright. So Well of Virtuoso was obviously a good draw there, because it makes 4 guys. We can attack with the Scrounger. They're probably going to make 2 Thopters and block. If we attack with the Inspectors, one of them gets eaten by the Virtuoso. Yeah, so if we animate Vents and attack with everybody, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they need to block the 2 big guys, or at least one of the big guys. They're going to do that by... Maybe they let the Shambling Vent through. 2 Thopters on the Scrounger. Virtuoso eats an Inspector. They take 3. Scrounger dies. Yeah, we're just... I don't think we can afford to hang back here. So, it's not great. Never said it was great. Probably could have tapped in a way where we wouldn't have to play the Swamp to bring back the Scrounger. That was kind of bad. But if we sit back with our Vent and our Thraben Inspectors, they can just chump the Scrounger every turn. Which also isn't going to be very good. So I think we have to attack with the bad attacks into Virtuoso. God, Will of Virtuoso is good here. So yeah, I think what's going to happen is Virtuoso eats the Thraben Inspector. 2 Thopters on the Scrounger. Probably let the other 3 get through. Then we can... That puts them to 3. We can bring back the Scrounger. Any top deck Unlicensed Disintegration would be good from here. Oh no, they're not going to kill the Scrounger. They're going to kill an Inspector. Okay, so they're just going to eat all the Inspectors. Go to 4. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, the last card was Harness Lightning? I'm not going to play the Swamp. Worst comes to worst, I can just activate the Spire of Industry to bring it back. Oh, that last card was so good. Ugh. So I need like running Disintegrates at this point, I think. God. Looks like our opponent has another spell. So our opponent's top decking 2 spells and we're top decking land. So in this extremely close game, it appears that they're the favourites. Got a decent life total, but yeah, that Shambling Vent going down was particularly bad. We have to attack. So yeah, I think our opponent has a spell in hand. They were saving it for the Chandra Emblem, and now they're just going to dome us for 5/5, and then hit us for 4. God, I can't believe our opponent plussed and hit Natural State on that one turn. How insane is that? Ugh. Well, they wouldn't have fired off the emblem if they didn't have spells in hand, so we're extremely dead. They're going to attack first before committing the 2 sets of 5 face damage to us. Oh no! Do we possibly have outs? Our opponent Chandra emblemed with no spells in hand? That can't possibly be right. I'm going to attack, they're going to make a Thopter. Before blocks, I'm going to shoot the Thopter. That means that our opponent has to trade a real creature for our Scrounger, instead of keep chumping us like a chump. Oh no. Okay, that works too. Wow. I can't believe our opponent Chandra emblemed without having spells to cast. Don't you just keep Chandra around there? Alright, well... Our opponent had no spells last turn. Oh wow. Okay, so now we can bring back Scrounger, shoot the Thopter, and that's how we win? If they attacked with both, I'd think twice about this, but going to 11 is a lot less dangerous here. Game trail? Did we somehow win this game? Oh my god. I'm going to do this now, because it's kind of a forced play. Oh, actually no. I want to be able to... if they kill this in response, I still want to be able to bring it back. Did we get there? We can't possibly have gotten there, right? Don't speak too soon, but... be pretty incredible. Oh my god. Oh my god! Ah! Why did... oh, wow. Whew. Okay, that was incredibly close. Jeez. Our opponent's plays with the Chandra there were very interesting. Plussing that one turn to hit the natural state was huge, and a bit of a gamble. I didn't know exactly what the makeup of our opponent's hand was. Maybe I could watch this video back and figure it out. But then ultimating the Chandra with 0 spells in their hand can't possibly be correct. They should have just kept plussing it, kept hitting gas, and having overwhelming board positions. So, wow. I really didn't think I was going to win that one. See you for round 2.